Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll explain what are the financial documents you need in order to get an I-20 from a US university. Now, the I-20, also known as the Certificate of Eligibility, is an official document that universities issue which is required in order to apply for a student visa, that is an F1 visa. Now, universities will issue an I-20 only after you have been accepted into the program that you applied to, and you have demonstrated that you have funds to pay for the complete 1 year of tuition plus 1 year of living cost as estimated by the university. So in order to get an I-20, you will need to provide financial evidence which will clearly demonstrate that there are enough funds to pay for the entire 1 year of tuition plus living at that university. Now, the most common way of showing funds is showing money in bank accounts. Now, this could be either in savings accounts or fixed deposits, or then you could get a loan sanction letter. Now, many times students ask if they can show money or investments in mutual funds, shares, properties, gold, insurance amounts, or even provident fund of their parents' employers. Now, most universities will not accept these. Some universities might accept money in public provident fund because the money is still in a bank account, but many times universities may not even accept that. So the most common way or the most definite way to show funds are showing in bank accounts, which is savings or fixed deposits, or then getting a loan sanction letter. Sometimes you might be able to show money in public provident fund or even in case of a provident fund if the letter issued by the bank or your employer clearly states that this is the withdrawable amount in that provident fund. That is, you will have to say that this is the total amount of provident fund or public provident fund available, and this is the amount which can be withdrawn without any restriction. So the withdrawable amount might be considered as funds available by the university. Now, a question that students often ask is whether all the funds that you need to show have to be in a single bank account. Well, no, the money need not be in a single bank account. It could be split across multiple banks and it could be in different people's names as well. Say for instance, there is some money in your dad's account, some money in your mom's account. You could show some funds in your own personal account if you have any. So the money could be split across maybe 3 or 4 accounts. Some could be in savings accounts, some could be in FDs. If you're taking an education loan and if the entire education loan is good enough to satisfy the university's requirement, that is fine. Otherwise, say for instance, the university's requirements are say $50,000 and you get an education loan of only $35,000. The remaining $15,000, which would come to approximately 12 lakhs, could be shown in bank accounts. So you could split the whole I-20 amount across multiple sources of funds. And that is all that the university requires, that the total sources of funds should meet the university's I-20 requirement needs. They don't really care whether it's in a single account, whether it's in multiple bank accounts, whether it's partly in an education loan and partly in bank accounts or in FDs. So whatever you show is fine as long as the total amount meets the university's requirements. The university will issue an I-20. Now, another question that students often ask is that if you are showing money in a bank account, is there a minimum number of days that the money should be there in the account before the bank issues you a letter? And after the bank issues you a letter, is it required that the money should be parked in the account till you get the visa or till you actually leave for the US? Well, no, there are no such requirements. The money can be there in the account just for a day before the bank issues you a letter, because what the bank is going to do is only issue you a balance certificate. And the balance certificate would only say that so and so is a customer of our bank and so is the type of account, say a savings account, and the account number, and the balance as of today is say 20 lakhs. So the bank is not going to write in the letter the number of days the money has been there, because that is not again a requirement of the university. The bank would only give you a balance certificate which will state the balance as of today. Now, once the bank issues you a letter, the very next day you can withdraw that money. There is no restriction by the university or the bank that the money should be kept in that account till a specific amount of days or till some specific period. So if you think you need to withdraw that money, you can definitely withdraw that money. Now, as you can see on the screen, here are some sample formats of letters that you can get from the bank. Now, some banks insist on using their own formats, which is also absolutely fine. But whatever be the format, these are the things that should be definitely mentioned in the letter. One is the name of the account holder, the type of account that they hold, that is whether it's a saving account, a fixed deposit account, or a current account, or any other kind of account, the account number, and the balance in that account as of today in Indian rupees. Now, if the bank can also mention its equivalent US dollar amount, that is great. Some banks would mention that, some banks would not mention it, but that's fine. And then the letter should definitely say that there are no restrictions on the withdrawal of these funds. Now, if you are getting a letter against your fixed deposits, then this sentence becomes even more important, because many universities will insist that the bank should mention in the letter that there are no restrictions or penalties on the withdrawal of funds from your term deposit or fixed deposits. Now, some banks will refuse to write the US equivalent amount of your funds on the bank letter. They would say that they will only mention the funds in Indian rupees. Now, which is fine, there is nothing much to worry about it. What you can do is with pen or pencil, just simply as you can see here on the screen, write on the top that, say, if your amount is say 25 lakhs, say 25 lakhs INR is equal to so and so US dollar at the current rate of so and so. This is what you can simply write. Even if you don't write, it is fine. Many universities will do the conversions themselves. But if you write it, it just becomes easier for the universities to do the conversions. Students and parents often ask if they can temporarily borrow money from friends and relatives, increase their bank balance, and once the bank issues you a letter, they can return the money back. Well, yes, that is very much possible. You could do that to get an I-20. Now, another very interesting question that I often get asked by students or their parents is that since there is no restriction that the money should be in the account for a minimum number of days, so then can I do this? Say, for instance, my father has 15 lakhs in his account. Can I just get a letter from the bank saying that the balance in the account is, say, 15 lakhs? And then after I get the letter, can I transfer that money to my mom's account or maybe my dad's another bank account? Get another letter from there for 15 lakhs and then transfer it to another account, say my account. So that I have three letters which I can then send to the university. The total would come to around 45 lakhs, which would meet the university's I-20 requirement. Well, yes, you can do that. Universities are not going to cross-verify where the money came from or how many days the money was there. So yes, practically you can do that. And if that is what you want to do, there is nobody stopping you from doing that. And you can definitely go ahead and do that to get your I-20. Now, can you use an education loan sanction letter to get an I-20? Well, yes, you could definitely use an education loan sanction letter to get an I-20. If you are planning on availing an education loan, I would recommend starting the education loan application process early and using the loan sanction letter to get an I-20. Now, if your loan sanction letter covers the entire amount required for the I-20, then you don't need any other document apart from the loan sanction letter. But if your education loan sanction letter is falling short of some amount, you could use that education loan sanction letter and show the balance amount in your maybe your personal bank account, or it could be a parent's bank account, and then use a combination of the education loan and the bank letters to get an I-20. Now, students and parents often ask which is the best option for an education loan. Now, there are many options for education loans. There are collateral based loans, there are non collateral based loans, there are banks, private NBFCs who give education loans based on your requirements. And then again, whether you can keep collateral, whether you have co-signers or you don't have co-signers for the loan, there are many options that you can consider. In the description, I have given a link for education loans. You can click on that and then you could fill in your profile and you can get instant codes on where you can get education loans from. So you can try that. Maybe in a separate video, I'll explain the different kinds of education loans and what are the basic differences between them. Now, as far as applications for I-20 or even for the matter visas to US universities go, there are no restrictions on where the loan should come from or which banks you should have the funds available. Like it could be nationalized banks, it could be private banks, it could be cooperative banks, it could be private NBFCs. Any bank or any financial institution that issues loans, or whether where you have bank accounts, are acceptable. So in summary, to get your I-20, you will need either bank certificates or maybe multiple bank certificates or letters, or maybe a loan sanction letter or a combination of a loan letter and bank certificates, such that the total funds available with you should be more than what the university requires. Now, apart from this, most universities would have a certificate of financial responsibility or a financial form, or also sometimes they call it the affidavit of support form, which you will have to fill, and your sponsors will have to sign that form. So, if you're showing funds in your, say, father's name, mother's name, or anybody else's name apart from yourself, then that person becomes your sponsor. Similarly, if this person, say your father's name or your mother's name, comes as a co-applicant on your loan letter, then they again become your sponsor. So they will have to sign a financial guarantee or a affidavit of support form, which is provided by the university, and you will have to send this form along with your bank letters or your loan letters, and then the university will issue you an I-20. Now, there are a few points that I thought I'll discuss before I conclude this video. And the first one is that the actual cost of your master's education may not be twice that of your I-20 amount. Often, students get confused when they see the I-20 amounts and feel that the actual cost of their master's program is going to be twice that of this amount. Now, although the I-20 says that the amount mentioned is an estimated cost of 1 year of education, you need to understand that most masters don't take typically 2 years to complete. The tuition mentioned on the I-20 is for 18 or sometimes even 24 credits. Most masters are around 30 credits. There are some masters which are 36 credits as well. Some are even 27. Some can go even higher to 48 credits. So your actual tuition cost, that is the amount that you'll be paying to the university as tuition and fees, will be based on the number of credits that your master's program is for, the per credit tuition rate, and sometimes it will also depend on the number of credits you take in a semester. If you take more credits, you might end up paying lesser to the university. Maybe in another video, I'll probably explain how the tuition is calculated for universities. But all you need to know is that don't just blindly go by the thought that my I-20 amount is so and so, so my tuition or the cost of my education is going to be double of that. It might be actually much lesser than that. Also, the estimated living and other costs that are mentioned on the I-20 are only estimates by university. This is not something that you will be actually paying the university. In reality, students spend a lot lesser than what is mentioned on the I-20. So the actual expense that you might incur during your masters will be much lesser than what is mentioned on your I-20. Also, another point that I would like to add is that you need to show the university proof of funds for only the first year of education. Later, the university is not going to ask you for any proof of funds for the second or subsequent years of education. Also, when you appear for your visa interview, the source of funds that you tell the visa officer is going to pay for your education can be totally different from what you showed to the university. Say, for instance, to get your I-20, you showed money in your and your parents' bank account. But when you appear for your visa interview, you tell the visa officer that the education is going to be paid by an education loan. That is absolutely fine. The funds that you tell the visa officer and the funds that you showed to the university need not be the same. Now, a last point that I would like to add is that, say, for example, you send a particular financial document to the university to get your I-20, and for some reason the university does not accept that document. Now, this will have no effect on your admission. The university will only ask you to resend the financial document. Now, at times it happens that you are not very sure whether a particular source of fund is accepted by the university or not. For example, you may have money in a PPF account, but you are not sure whether money in PPF account is accepted by the university. So in that case, what I would recommend is get a letter from your bank against the PPF money, send it to the university. In case the university accepts, it's fine. If not, they will simply tell you that we do not accept money in the PPF. This will have no negative or adverse effect on your admission. So don't worry about it. I hope this video clarifies most of your doubts regarding the I-20 application process. If you still have any further questions, feel free to post them in the comment section of this video and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching this video.